I have this theory. I wish I'd say I created it, but we suffer, we awaken, and we rise. So when you're in a faith community or something, you suffer the disconnect. But you wake up and you go, we're called to do something else. And then you rise and you start to do it. But guess what? That repeats itself. There's more suffering. Somebody you know is going to die. And you're going to suffer. And then you wake up to, man, I got to start living my life. You know, I got to spend more time with people and off my phone. You learn, you awaken, and then you go to this. And then there's another one. The most powerful lessons he's taught me is when I have suffered.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Faith Over Comfort podcast. We're so thankful that you are joining us today. I am one of the co-hosts, Tom, and I am sitting next to my wife today. She's the other co-host, Justine. You want to say hello?
Hi, guys.
Wow, that was just great. We actually have a special guest today, and it is somebody who is very near and dear to not only my heart, but to the heart of my family, and that is Craig Harrison. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Pleasure to be here.
And I'll say it again because it bears repeating. You've been in my life for forever. You've been in my family's life for forever. And right out the gate, I know I want to share a story with you of you have been such a crucial part of my relationship with God for a wide variety of reasons. So obviously growing up, St. Francis, you've known me since I was a little kid. But there was a dramatic moment in my life where I had gone away to college, came back. I don't know if you remember this, let me know. But I had come back and I was really trying to figure out who God was. And I came to visit you because you were the holiest man that I knew. And it was...
Fooled you.
And it was something that was so encouraging because I remember you just let me ask you any question and every question. And I will never forget that moment because it wasn't like I was having like a, existential crisis or anything. I was just curious and I was learning and I was, that moment meant so much to me. I didn't continue being a Catholic, but it was one of those moments that meant so much to me because for the first time there was somebody who was able to sit down with me. And I mean, I was 19. I should have known by that time. I had gone through confirmation. I had gone through these classes, going to Catholic school my whole life. But there was this moment. I never felt any judgment from you. I never felt like, I was missing out on anything. And so you are one of the core reasons why I believe in God the way that I do. And I want to thank you for that.
I feel very blessed just hearing that.
Yeah. And it was something that was just truly incredible. You have a reputation in town of people that just at the mention of your name, they light up. And the kids are being watched by my mother today because she's like, I know you have him on. I'll watch the kids so you guys can have it. So my mom does say hi. And it was incredible to see, because I've hinted to a couple of people like, hey, we're going to have him on. We're going to have him on. And people this is going to be an episode people want to listen to just because of your character and who people know you to be. And so
I told our daughter last night, I said, we are having someone on the podcast that was your dad's priest. That's the correct way of saying it, right?
Yeah.
I said, was your dad's priest? And she goes, is he famous? And I go, yeah, actually kind of, for sure, in Bakersfield. I'm like very well known. It was just funny.
Yeah, and so I think a lot of people will want to know a few things about you. So we'll get down to the most important questions. What's your favorite movie?
Oh, man, that's a good one. I think it's for me the classic. My favorite movie always has been The Wizard of Oz.
Oh yeah,
and part of it is because it's good evil. It's good triumphs.
Yeah.
It's conversion.
Yeah.
It's the Tin Man. Everybody's looking for something and they didn't realize it was always there. It's, to me, the religious experience.
Yeah.
It's conversion.
Wow.
So, for me, I can watch it in any way. I can't wait to go to Vegas and see it in the Sphere.
Oh,
Because people told me it's amazing. But
I was going to say, do you watch Wicked and those
I did.
ones?
I have a grandson at St. Francis.
Yeah.
And before I was a priest, I adopted 8 children. So I have 8 children, 20 grandchildren. So, but one of my grandsons loves Wicked, and I took him to Pantages to see the show.
Oh, wow.
A couple times.
That's so cool.
So
our daughter loves Wicked.
Yeah. As you're watching that, what did you think of it? Are you like, this isn't like The Wizard of Oz?
I actually liked it. Again, it's good and evil. And this one I loved is evil wasn't really evil and good wasn't really good. Like the true nature of people. I just love studying people. I love, and I'm so naive. I've always believed in people or this. And, as the world goes, I've learned that it's probably why I believe that you got to trust Christ is probably far more important than anyone else you trust, because it's hard.
Yeah.
Even when I walked in the door here and I'm looking at you going like, I remember he's just this little kid.
Yeah.
And he's a grown man. He's got a beautiful wife. Who would have thought? He's got 3 kids. So I'm looking here like the transformation of life. And then I thought, wow, what a great opportunity to sit down and just talk about our journeys. Because to me, that's all I do now in life is I resigned from the priesthood 4 years ago, yesterday. And so that was big, 35 years in ministry.
Yeah.
And then a major leave.
Yeah.
And then painful, 7 years of a lot of pain. But again, the Lord working in my life, freeing me to be who he needs me to be, and which I love now. My whole story is just learning people's journey and journeying with them.
I have another very important question to ask you. Do you have a favorite sport? And if so, what is your team?
Oh, well, that's hard because I was a swimmer.
Okay.
And I love swimming.
Okay.
And so the U.S. Olympic swim team is like, I follow swimmers, and that I swam at BHS, wanted to swim at UCLA, but tried out and got lapped by Mark Spitz. And I decided I wasn't that good. But I love swimming. But I actually grew up with all sports, and I'm kind of like, most of my kids are 49er fans. I've always been a Dodger fan. My dad's always taken us to Dodger games and stuff. So, I always like the local things. But Sundays, you have to realize as a minister, I could never watch sports. Yeah. I was a chaplain for the Green Bay Packers.
Were you?
No way.
Wow.
So I had gone back and forth with them.
How did you get that?
Yeah, I tell you, God just has a way of connecting me with the right person.
That's
and
wild.
So a local athlete here played for them and said, hey, I've got a priest. And, most of the guys were Catholics. So they would fly me over, and I would say mass for the team the night before and stay on the sideline, watch the game, and then come back.
Wow, that's amazing.
That was fun. Fun experience. Did a little bit with the Oakland A's.
Yeah.
It's hard, though. It's hard when Sunday is your busiest day to get involved that much in sports. I ended up loving college sports. I went to UCLA, so I still go down and meet my fraternity brothers for a football game here and there. So it's kind of that thing. I just couldn't get that attached because I couldn't watch it.
Yeah. So okay, I can't remember. You went to UCLA and you graduated economics and
business and economics.
With
a minor in psychology.
Right. And then how does somebody go from, how old were you when you graduated?
I was 20.
So then how do you go from a 20-year-old to then the ministry? How do you get into seminary?
It was an interesting couple of years. First of all, I graduated early, and I loved school, so I was a good student. And I graduated early and got a job with an accounting firm in Beverly Hills. And so my first job, I made more than both my parents who were teachers.
Oh, wow.
And so I lived kind of high on the hog. I drove a little Porsche, and at that time I was engaged, and I thought my life kind of had its journey.
Yeah.
And you talk about how God speaks to you. Spoke to me very, very powerfully. So much so I was willing to give up everything
Yes.
in life.
Yeah.
And so I remember I was at my fraternity. We had what's called the beer gardens.
Okay.
How many people meet Jesus in the beer garden? But
Sure.
I was up there one
Yeah.
night, and I was sitting there, and I was like in this spiritual turmoil. I had left the Catholic Church when I was a senior, and I got very involved in a non-denominational church in college through the girl I met, and she was very active, and I just loved it. I became a very active minister for them. Always got turned on to God's word. I mean, I was on fire.
Yeah.
And I just didn't know where I was going with the job and everything. So I was up in the beer gardens by myself one night, and I had a chair, and I said, okay, Lord, just show me a miracle, just something. Move a cloud, shoot a star. Just give me a sign that you're there. Because I've got the religious stuff. I love my Bible studies and all that, but I need to feel it.
Yeah.
And I waited. And then I said, I tried him. It didn't work. So then I tried the Blessed Mother. I thought, okay, you appeared to children in Portugal and all this. But come on, just pop up there just for a second. That's all I need. And I thought, okay, Jesus, just shoot a meteor across. Anything. Nothing. Nothing. And I just sat in complete silence. And I'm telling you, it was like somebody slugged me in the gut. The Holy Spirit just came on me. And it was like the song I could see clearly now. It's like I just knew I had to follow this calling.
Yeah.
And I called my parents and I said, hey, I'm going to quit my job.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I said, I think I'm being called to be a priest, Catholic priest, and I've called off my engagement. And my parents were like, he needs psychiatric help.
Yeah, right,
Something
right.
wrong, everything in his
Wow.
life good. And I left everything.
Yeah.
And I came back to Bakersfield. I had lived high on the hog, so I had credit card debts I had to pay off. And I applied to the seminary, and I took a job. I just grabbed any job I could get. So I worked at the Tama Center, which was a restaurant.
Okay.
I was a busboy. I mean, here I have 2.5 college degrees, and everybody in town, like, you know, they knew my family, and they were like, you're home here bussing tables.
Yeah.
And then a girl I dated, her dad was principal at Chipman Junior High, and he called me and said, hey, I had a teacher broke back, and I know you have a degree. Would you come and sub? And I go, yeah. So I ended up getting to sub for the entire year.
Oh, wow.
And while I was subbing, I met a couple of the kids in my class. I also worked at probation on the weekend with at-risk kids.
Really?
So I had 3 jobs working to pay off
You
my
have
debt
lived so
I
much
could go in the
life.
seminary.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wanted to go in the seminary.
Yeah.
Well, these 2 kids I had in school and through probation, they didn't know where they were going to put them. They said, one's been, my son Roy, I think, been 20-some foster homes.
Oh.
So I said, somebody said, you should become a foster parent. And so I'm applying for the seminary.
And how old were you?
I was 20.
Yeah.
Still. Okay.
Still
So
20
now-
at this time.
I couldn't be a foster parent until I was 21. So when I turned 21, I ended up fostering 2. And then
Two boys.
2 boys, right?
Right.
I wanted to take one of the boys and his sister, but the courts wouldn't let me because I had the other one. So you couldn't mix. So I had 2 boys, and then it went to 4, and then I adopted them. Went to court, legally adopted them.
At 20
They're all different
years
races.
old.
By
Wow.
the time I was 25, I had 8.
Wow.
And then I
8.
got fixed because I was like,
Yeah.
and then, and I would say we had 2 or 3 others that lived with us for a period of time, you know, their friends or whatever, when they got kicked out of their homes. But my parents thought it was crazy. I applied to the seminary thinking, so I'm sitting there and they're interviewing me. And I look out here, there's 100 guys applying for seminary. And I'm looking like, they asked me every question in the book. And I go, well, I have children, and no priests have children. So they're like, well, you know, so they accepted me, and they accepted 27 of us. And I think 14 became priests out of the 27. It's a 5-year seminary, intense. It's a master's degree. So you get a master's. I have a master's in divinity.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Right.
you do that. And at the same time, I had these kids. So I farmed my kids off to my sister, my friends, and then I would go get them, and they'd come and spend the weekends.
Wow.
And then
What did they think of it when you were
well,
there?
you know what? It was better than what they had. So
Oh, sure.
they
It's
they
true.
did. I remember when one of my sons got married, I think he had 61 priests at the altar because
What?
they all were like, "Oh, we watched him grow up. We got to see him
Oh,
get married."
wow.
Wow.
But my oldest two children are 57 and my youngest is 48, and then I have 20 grandkids from 20 years old down to 11.
That is
Wow.
insane.
And being 66, I'm really only 8 years older than my
Yeah.
oldest child.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
it's funny. And they're all different races. So
Yeah.
it's been a conglomerate. So my journey led me to that, then to the priesthood, and then hard to manage kids. And then when I got ordained, I had to go actually get permission from John Paul II to be ordained to having 8 children. And
Wow.
then I get ordained, and I had to take my kids with me to parishes. The good thing was some of them were ready for college,
Yeah.
so I didn't really have to have them all at one time.
Mm-hmm.
So,
What
oh, go ahead.
what was that like being 20 years old and taking in children who had experienced a lot of trauma
Yeah, most
and
of my
walking
kids
them
it's
through that?
extreme abuse, not even part. So, you know what? I think it was I had such an easy childhood, though there was sickness in mine. I lost a brother young, and my other brother went to St. Francis, and when he was 8, he collapsed on campus, and he spent like 6 years at UCLA Medical Center as a quadriplegic.
Oh my
And
gosh.
so we had to commute. So there was a lot of sickness. And then my mom had twins. And so there was just a lot of sickness in our family. But my family was solid. And I think I always thought every kid should have that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And somebody asked me to house sit for him. I had no money. Somebody asked me to house sit for him. They were going to Australia for 2 years. And I said, okay. And so I called them. I said, hey, I was going to adopt some kids. Can they come and live here?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't even know how we ever survived financially and all because,
Right.
when
Right.
you're a priest, you're making
Yeah.
in those days $700 a month
Mm.
Yeah.
trying to feed everybody. And we weren't a traditional home like you guys with the kids. Like my kids were always everywhere, and wherever I went somewhere, I had to farm them out.
Yeah.
To
Yeah.
people. So everybody raised them. But I have to tell you, I have a wonderful relationship with all my kids.
Yeah.
They either call or come by and see me every day. And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
That's
that's such a blessing too. We have so in the circle of people we run with, it's about 2 kids. Everyone has 2 kids. Well, when we tip the scale with the third, people are like, "Oh, wow, that's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be hard for you to find a sitter," which it has been. And then we're even entertaining a fourth. We entertain, and you would think that we talked about cutting our arms off. Because some people are like, 4 kids, that's wild. But we do think about what you just said.
We kind of think futuristically. Like, what do we want our holidays to look like? What do we
Right.
want our dinner table to look like? And
Right.
hearing 20 grand, like,
But
that's
and
my
I,
dream.
and I have to tell you,
Yeah.
the beauty of that is just this. Most priests that I know, they never marry or have children. And as they get older and you lose your siblings and all this, like I feel for them because unless they were very outgoing,
Mm.
they don't have relationships.
Yeah.
And I'm never bored. There's always something somewhere.
Yeah.
Somebody's got a volleyball game, whatever going on.
Yeah.
And I'm connected. And so I look at other priests and I know sometimes it was hard for them because they were like, he's got a family.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
it always made my priesthood different than everybody's.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think I was always a different kind of priest than everybody.
I was going to say, do
Oh,
you
hands
feel like
down.
you could relate with people better?
I think it did. Like I had a mother, I'll never forget the story. She comes in and she says, my 12-year-old, she's crying. She told me she hates me and all this. And I said, if I got $1 every time my kid told me to hate me, I said, I can remember my son Roy came in, he was like 12 or 13. He goes, I wish you would never have adopted me. And I said, hey, the feeling's mutual, but when you can afford a lawyer to change it, great, because I'm not spending another dime. And we laugh about that today. He's 57 years old.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like that whole thing. Yeah, I know what it's like. I know what it's like to be so tired.
Yeah.
I know what it's like to be frustrated. I know what it's like to yell at them about homework or, when they get in trouble
Yeah.
to deal with it. But I think it made me more maybe a connection with people more because I did.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. I remember there's one specific sermon you gave. I don't remember how old I was, but you were talking about being specific in your prayers. And the example that you gave was praying about being a priest over Saint Francis of Assisi. I think
Okay, so it's so funny you say that. It always amazes me when somebody remembers one. So just for your viewers,
yeah.
so once I was ordained a priest, all I wanted to do was one day become pastor at St. Francis, where I grew up.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
The odds of that are zero. No
Oh,
priest usually ever goes back to their home or their home
Oh.
parish.
wow.
So I knew it was out of it. So I'm praying anyway because my God is bigger than anything else. And I get a call from the bishop and he says, "Hey, I'm going to give you your first assignment. You're going to St. Francis." And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Yes." And then he says, "In Mojave Desert."
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
yeah.
I said, "Oh my God." So then I started changing my prayer. No, Lord, I want to go to St. Francis of Assisi, 908th Street, Bakersfield, California, 93304, on the corner of H. So I was specific. But I've always believed then, too, with me is make your wants known to God.
Yeah.
I just talked recently with a mother that she has her whole life, all she's ever wanted to do is have a child,
Mm.
and she hasn't been able to.
Mhm.
And she came in kind of desperate. And I sat with her and I said, "I believe that our God does not place in your heart a desire that he's not going to fulfill."
Mm.
And so I've been praying with her in this. And then you know what? It was so powerful. I said, you got to relax a little. She's tried some, she went to the in vitro route and all that, still nothing. And I said, let's just pray about this. And she just gave birth to a very
Oh.
happy baby girl.
Oh
Wow.
my
And I think 3 months old. But I'm saying is God's hand in that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I looked and I go, he wouldn't give you that. He wouldn't place it in your heart,
Mhm.
Yeah.
So another question I have for you, because we're able to see the fruits of some of what you've been able to accomplish in following God as closely as you have. Have you ever had moments of doubt?
Oh my God. You know what? I want to say, stupid question.
Yeah.
Okay. The entire journey has been
Oh,
with doubt. So
really?
let me tell you, it's like
Yeah.
when you have one of your kids go through pain and suffering, and that, God, what's going on? As a priest, I have to tell you, one of the things I learned about myself, and this will bring it to that, because I think suffering is the key to following Christ,
Hmm.
is I always felt everything I put my finger on turned to gold. Like God just blessed whatever I did. We wanted to build a youth center. He gave me a vision of what we wanted. I tell the people, boom, we raised the money in 6 months, build a $4 million building. And I was
Wow.
like, God, whatever it is. St. Vincent de Paul, my sister died and suddenly at 41. And so my family, we got land and I had this vision and we built the homeless center that still serves. That's been 12 years.
Mhm.
And so he's always done that. And I thought, all of a sudden in ministry, I'm going. I mean, I do. I feel like, I think when I came to St. Francis, probably an estimated, we had 600 families. When I left, we probably had 12,000
Wow.
families.
Mhm.
So we had 5 services, different languages, Vietnamese, English. I had to learn languages to, minister to the people. But it just did. But what I did was, in ministry, I kept thinking ministry was about doing. You got to always be doing. You got to respond to everybody. Everybody who's sick, you got to. And God needed to open my eyes. And 7 years ago, I had an accusation. Here I am with kids, grandkids, and all this. And out of the blue comes an accusation. And the institution I worked for, I was like, okay, well, they're going to be there. This is common now. Everybody, you see it on the front page of today's paper, more. But it was like this accusation that I had hurt a child. And I'm like, well, once they get this, so they suspend you. They just stop you. And the next thing I know, I'm on like the front page of every paper. Pedophile, this. Nobody, I've never ever in my life, still to this day, ever had a charge of anything, ever been a court, nothing. It was just somebody said something, the church responded the way it did, and the church has never spoken to me. So can you imagine, you spend 35 years, this is your family, and we're not there to help you. In fact, we're making it worse. So I went in the deepest, darkest time in my life. I was like, if you could be, the good thing was God totally destroyed my ego. And he said to me, he spoke to me. First of all, he stayed silent for so long. I was so pissed. I would just be gone like, where are you? You are a mean God. I have done nothing but serve you and do this. And this is how you get treated. Oh, I'd have those conversations and they were painful. And sitting out, that's how Coffee with Jesus got started. I started journaling every day, something, a word, something to get me through the day. And then after 3 years, it was a publisher said to me, you should put those into a daily reflection. So I did. And all it was my pain, giving it to Christ. And after about 2 years, and I kept thinking, I'm going right back. I mean, as soon as they figure out that this is all ridiculous, they're going to put me back. After 2 years, I'm going, they're not communicating with me. I'm never going to go back. It's not going to happen. And that 3rd year was really tough, prayer. But I felt the Lord going, Craig, be patient. And I remember I sat on my front porch in Spruce, and I have this big tree, and it has a face on it, eyes and a nose and a mouth. I call him Wilbur. And Wilbur was dead. I mean, all the branches, no leaves or anything. And I kept saying, Wilbur, where is he? God, what do you want me to do? What am I supposed to do? I've just been waiting. And all of a sudden, it's like Wilbur. That morning, I look up and he's got leaves all over him, like new life. And I go, okay, Lord, I surrender. I just, whatever you want me to do, you lead me. I give it all up to you. And he spoke to me very clearly that it's time for you to move on. And he didn't say to me, this is bad. And I have nothing. I still have, my kids are Catholic. I mean, I support the Catholic Church to do this. But that's not where I was supposed to be. And that was a very painful disconnect.
Oh, sure.
That's 35-year-old marriage.
Yeah. Right.
And saying I have to move on.
Yeah.
And I did. And all of a sudden, people kept coming to me. And people that understood darkness and people that understood suffering and pain. And I thought, these people are coming. And I created a business called Transition Ahead, where I work with grief and trauma and people that are trying to transition and they're stuck. Faith especially. So everything that I work with, and I get people from every walk of life, there's that faith element. Because eventually, I want them to realize that they're suffering, that our goal in life is to embrace it. So I have this theory, I wish I'd say I created it, but we suffer, we awaken, and we rise.
Wow.
And so when you're in a faith community or something, you suffer the disconnect. But you wake up and you go, we're called to do something else. And then you rise and you start to do it. But guess what? That repeats itself. There's more suffering. Somebody you know is going to die. And you're going to suffer. And then you wake up to, man, I got to start living my life. You know, I got to spend more time with people and off my phone. And you learn, you awaken, and then you go to this. And then there's another one. And how old are you now?
35.
God, that just kills me. And you're what, 18? We have laws against it. But I look at this and I say to myself, like, you're 35 now, and I'm 66. And I go, the lessons God have taught me, and the most powerful lessons he's taught me is when I have suffered. In a period of a few years, I lost my younger sister, my brother, and both my parents moved in with me, and they died 6 months apart. You'll love my new book I'm writing. You should get it. It's called How to Kill Your Parents in 1 Year. They moved in with me, and they both went. But I have to laugh about things, too. I have to tell you, that's how I survive.
Oh, no.
But the transition, that suffering, it made sense to me. That why fight the suffering? I was fighting it, alone, scared. And then I surrendered, and it was like, I look where God has put in my life today. Wow. I have never experienced his presence more. I read a quote that I liked that said, we're here for just a short period of time. And when you get to be 66, you go, it's getting shorter.
Yeah, sure.
It is. And that's okay. And this is going to be, to me, the best season of my life because of the awareness, the living in the present moment, the being grateful for the blessings and the trials. But we're here, and why we're here to observe. We're here to look at God, his creation, the people, observe. We're here to learn. We're here to learn lessons. We're here to have experiences. And most importantly, we're here to love. And when we do, we can go.
Yeah.
Because God is love. So when we learn the lessons we need to learn, as painful as they are, we become free enough to enjoy the eternal reward. And so I'm on that journey, and I like to meet with people and figure out where they are and go, okay, let's get there. What are you learning?
Yeah.
I don't ask people every day, how are you? I never do. I say, tell me, what's the best blessing you had today? And they go, it's only 8:00 in the morning. I go, I know that you've seen, and they think about it and they go, man, I was really spoiled today. I got this latte and this is like really well done. And I'm going like, good, a blessing. So I have a grandson who goes to St. Francis, and he's 12. And he's competing today in the National Academic Decathlon. He made it in English, which is funny because it's nice to have a smart one. So I was thinking about this, and today, even coming here, like, I didn't know. And then I'm like, hey, I love hearing the stories. I was staring at those pictures of your children. So I'm looking at this in my life and I go, what lessons I learned? So my little 12-year-old grandson, when he was little, like 5 and 6, what I did every day, his dad's a trainer, and bring him over to the house, use my gym to train his people. And so I'd play with him, and we'd paint, we'd do things. But every day I would make him walk with me around the block and said, you got to find 3 miracles. Pop, I'm tired. I want a snack. Nope. After you find 3 miracles. And he'd find a flower, a rock, and tell me why it's a miracle. Can you see how pretty that is? Can you see it makes a little heart shape? Whatever it was. And I said, we need to practice that as adults. Every day I got to see the miracles. Instead of the tiredness and the hardship and all of that, I got to praise God for the loud kids running and screaming, and that we have food to eat. And man, what a great moment. I come in here and I'm going, your house is beautiful. And I'm like, makes me proud to go, look at you building a family. So all that changes my entire brain. So I kind of live in that now. So, but I would never have experienced this awakening had I not suffered.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I recently heard a sermon, and it goes along with what you're saying that I think is just really powerful. But basically, it was about how we so often, when we're in the dark, when we're in the midst of our suffering, we think that we are outside of God's will. And the whole thing was just about sometimes sitting in that darkness is God's will for our life. And it's this waiting period of crying out to the Lord and allowing him to, build you up before the seed sprouts. And I just thought it's so true. Like, I feel like we automatically think like that. Like, this isn't God's will for my life. And it's like, when I look back on my own life and the hardships that I've gone through and the things that I've struggled with, I'm like, no, I actually think that the Lord put that in place so that I would be at his feet, so that I would surrender, because if it weren't for that pain, I don't think I would have ever had the desperation to surrender everything to him,
we wouldn't know what light was unless we experienced darkness.
Yeah.
And And the Psalms were written, all the Psalms were written in darkness.
Yeah.
And that's why people, when they pray them, they can connect with them.
Mm-hmm.
So I love that. And I really believe he's in that. I call them sacred pauses.
Mm.
And the sad part to me, in music, sometimes they put a pause and it's very dramatic. And you're just waiting for that beat to come. But the pause has purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they're long pauses.
Mm-hmm.
Like I always change everything in my mind to sacred interruptions. Every day you're driving, you get a flat tire, sacred interruption.
Oh, sure.
God's saying, like, how are you going to handle this?
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to be Christian about this? You're going to do this? Or,
Yeah.
So I laugh all day like, oh, that's a sacred pause.
Mm-hmm.
He's not giving me an answer because it's not my time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I do have a question too. There are a lot of times where you'll hear, we've had something recently happen where you got people around you that are suggesting that you just surrender to God. And you'd mentioned that a couple of times. For anybody like us, we recently were asking that question. Well, what do you mean surrender it to God? Okay, if God's in heaven, I'm supposed to do what with this? What does that mean to surrender? So
You just unleashed for me my favorite thing in the world.
Oh, okay, yeah. Go ahead.
This is going to be surrender to me.
Okay.
It's not this. Oh, I just give it to you and I'm not responsible. No.
Yeah.
It goes to this. So this is my theology class for you.
Okay.
In 60 seconds.
Okay.
Before you were born, I knew you.
Mm-hmm.
Scripture.
Mm-hmm.
You were. Some people call it a vibration, a frequency. Christians call it a soul. I think it was St. Augustine called it a God particle. I love that. We were a part of God. We existed. And then he said, then I knit you in your mother's womb. Not all wombs were good and safe. How many children have been aborted?
Mm-hmm.
How many people were brought, like the kids I adopted, brought in a family that couldn't take care of them?
Mm-hmm.
But he said, no, you don't understand. I placed you in that exact moment, exactly where you are to be right now, and including your children, for my purpose, not yours. It's not so you can have the nice house and everything goes good and your kids live longer than you. And no, it's nothing about that. I need you for my purpose. That's God.
Mm-hmm.
And then he said, you'll live to be 70 or 80 if you're strong. And many of these will be filled with trials. Great news.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So when I put that in perspective of life, I say the surrender to me is, I'm not looking for God up there. That God lives in me.
Mm-hmm.
So the light is always in me.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I can darken it. So I also have a little analogy I use that when we start growing up, we're pure light. You look at those babies, they're just pure light.
Mm-hmm.
And then they get to be teenagers
Mm-hmm.
and they're trying to find themselves in this.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens is they also find what hurt means. They get hurt by friends. They get bullied, whatever it is. Maybe their dad's an alcoholic or mom's not present or whatever it is. But they start to coat that light.
Mm-hmm.
And pretty soon that gets pretty thick. And then you become a high school kid and you go through rejection and hurt and pain. And you ask all the questions. And college, if you go to college or if you go to work, whatever, and it kind of builds. And pretty soon you can't see the light. It's like a coconut shell.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but God is still there. And so then we get the chance of, in these moments of darkness, is chipping away. And then all of a sudden that light starts to come out and boom. And I always believe that that's what attracted people to Jesus. It was God was so him, the light was so shining. And then the disciples, they weren't anything to write home about. I mean, they're fishermen, all this stuff, tax collector. But their heart, the light of God shone through. So people felt they wanted to listen to him. They want them. So my goal in life is I'm always kind of trying to chip away at my light. I want the light of Christ to shine through me. I don't want to make excuses for anything that went in my life. Nothing bad has ever happened to me. Everything was his plan. to brighten my light. And there's more, and I don't know what it is. But to me, what suffering means is I wrote this chart. I made it up. It was called Father Craig's Theory of Life. Up here is joy, happiness, resurrection. This is life. This is death, darkness, sadness, and this is growth. So we always think that we want to live up here. Nobody gets to live in joy, peace. Everything's wonderful all the time. Can't live there. So we go through our life and we have experiences that God wants us to learn. Now, give you an example. Side note, drug addict. You got a kid who's on drugs. So he's going down here and you say, whoa, we have to fix him. We're going to pay his bills. We got to keep him happy. So you try to do everything and he doesn't get better because he has to hit bottom. We have to go through this. And then we go over here and we grow. We learn about ourselves, self-awareness. And then we come up and we have another God to me, the transfiguration. We really feel his presence, but then we have to go. So the key of life is you keep going and you keep going and you never stop so that when you come to the darkness, you sit in it. And just like you said, the surrender is swish, swish. Lord, what lesson do I need to learn right now? I'm in pain. What do you need me to learn? Because as soon as I learn it, I can move on. I can grow. And so I'm always practicing that art. So to me, it's exciting. The surrender is don't get stuck. And don't think you get to stay up here. It's great. I feel like I'm right here. God has taken me this realm and it's been brutal. And I'm like, I don't think life could get any better. But I have a son that was just diagnosed with cancer. I have a son going through a divorce. I got a grandkid with some issues. And so guess what? Stuff, it's all stuff, but I'm seeing it differently. Lord, your will be done. I'm learning, okay, I'm there. I'm supportive. I can do what I can do. I can't change it. The average brain has between 100,000 and 70,000 thoughts a day.
Wow.
So what we do is, the surrendering is, I surrender control. I don't like that thought. People blame their parents for where they're. I go, once you're 20 years old, leave them out of the picture. It's your choice now. Do whatever. You're adults.
Yeah.
Kids, we got to learn how to get out of our heart, our mind, and live in that light. People hear the word psychology. When you hear psychology, what do you think of?
The brain.
Yeah, the brain.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wrong.
Processing
Wrong.
stuff.
The Greek word psych means soul.
Interesting.
Psych.
We are supposed to live in the psyche, in our soul, but our world, we've evolved to where we live out of our minds. We give so much credit to what we think, but if I'm having 100,000 thoughts a day, I'm not creating them. They're probably, you talk about Satan, you talk about this. Where do you think half this stuff comes from? So we have to learn to say, stop. And then we got social media. We got all the things we do. And we're like, our brain is going, why? People can't sleep anymore because their brains are going like this.
Yeah.
I sleep great.
Yeah.
But it's taken time to retrain my brain to say, no, it's just a thought. I feel it. Sadness. The other day was the anniversary of the day I left. I thought about it. I felt it. Okay, good. Okay. I need to let it go now. I need to think about this. I'm going to go do this. I'm going to go visit St. Vincent. I'll go do something. Get out of my head. But this is, to me, the most dangerous thing today. And that's why faith, the journey of faith, it's not just a feeling. Do I always feel God? No. But do I know for a fact he's always there? I've experienced it. I will never let go of that.
In your experience, you've seen generation after generation of people, church, faith, you've seen a lot. What would you say is church cool right now? Is being a Christian cool right now? Are you seeing that church is under persecution? What are you seeing? Is this a trend? Have you noticed that? Oh yeah, church people come in waves. What are you seeing right now?
It's weird. I see both. I see the Charlie Kirk kind of motivation where a lot of people, he could argue logically in a lot of ways that people with intellect would say, well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I see that. But I also see that people are raised today not trusting institutions.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Catholic Church has gone through all of that. I mean, I used to work in that field. To be accused of the thing that I counseled people was absurd to me, but it's what it is. Look at today's front page of today's paper, Cesar Chavez.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right.
It's like, for Christians today, it's like, I want to say to them, don't look for elsewhere to what believe in. Believe in the God in you. Believe in Christ. You can study God's word and get 500 different translations of it.
Sure.
Charles Manson used it.
Yeah.
So even word of God, we have to process.
Mm-hmm.
We have to study what does it mean? Who is he talking to? What was the language used?
Mm-hmm.
And what's the truth?
Yeah.
And see, that's to me the great journey. So what I think all these young people today is, I want to look at them, because if they believe in an institution, just the other day we had a great apologetic, very charismatic priest, Father Michael Schmidt, came,
Who
and
told us about that? President, I think.
yeah, and he's amazing. He does podcasts. He's on Hollow. He does all this. He does 365. Amazing priest. I've watched his stuff. So he came, and thousands of people came. But the thing is, we have to be careful, because people can believe in the person.
Yes.
And I went through that, because people would say to me, oh, you're a rock star. Oh, you did this. I'm happy in my life to be a stepping stone for somebody, to maybe challenge them to think or be a better person. But when you get to there, you're taking the place of God.
Yeah.
You're taking place. So if people want to believe in a person, they're going to be disappointed. If people want to believe in an institution, they're going to be.
Yeah.
And so we just have to keep moving and saying, I've got to keep growing and serving God. When you're making lots, you said, one of the things you're saying, it's like, what's this transition for you guys in your life? That would be one of the questions I would say is, you said some friends said, well, why are you serving in ministry there? You're in this ministry, you're in that ministry. Well, because that's what God calls you to. The Catholic Church says in its catechism, we're here to do 3 things: know, love, and serve Christ.
Mm-hmm.
We could sum everything into it. I'm here to serve. Well, maybe I'm serving at the homeless center right now, but maybe God's going to move me to serve over here. Nothing is finite.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is evolving. You're evolving.
Mm-hmm.
She's not the same woman you married, not bearing your children, not doing this. But your love grows.
Mm-hmm.
It has changed. And even on that kind of graph I was explaining to you, you're never both on the same place at the same time.
Mm-mm.
So I can't carry you through your pain, but I can be that light that walks you through the darkness, because I'm in a good place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so, you said to me when I came, I don't know what to call you. It's always, you've been Father Craig.
Yeah.
I laugh because I say to people, the titles, but you have to understand this. I observed that was my identity.
Yeah.
I ceased to exist so that Father Craig or Monsignor Craig, that was the big joke the other day. We were at Fox Theater for this Elvis, what do you ever call those? Where they
impersonation,
like musical?
he does. It's a guy that does cover band.
Oh,
so
yeah.
He did it all, and it was fun. I went with a bunch of friends, and so we're sitting there at the Fox. And when we walked in, they go, "Hey, you have a star here," and I said, "Yeah," and they go, "Buck Owens, Merle Haggard, then you?"
Yeah.
And I said, "Yes," and I said, 20 years from now, people are going to say, "God, Buck Owens, what an amazing country artist," and Merle Haggard. And then it says MSGR, short for Monsignor. It says, and they're going to say, "Who's Ms. Greer Harrison?" And I was laughing. I was going, it's like life's transition of that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But it's not to leave this world that everybody knows you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I look at my life in 50 years. I just read this. It was weird. 50 years. Everybody whose lives I've touched will be on their way out of here. I will cease to be remembered.
Sure.
And so why do I want to put those roots so hard here?
Yeah.
And so the journey of the pain, the suffering, who am I today? I'm not the same person I was yesterday because of the people I met, the stories I heard. Yesterday, I had a mother sit across from me and share with me her 3 children burned in a fire.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, I just cried and wept. And I'm not playing psychological games with her. You know what I did? Tell me about your kids.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to talk to her about her kids because they think she'll be in so much pain. And all she wants to do is talk about her kids. So I'm like, and then she left and I was like, Lord, wow, thank you. Would I even be alive if I lost my kids?
Yeah. Right.
Wow. Thank you for that experience. And I end every night with a cigar. That's my vice. I go out my patio, have a cigar, and I'm like, I let all that go. I surrender today. Man, make me a better man tomorrow. And so to me, it's the journey. And so I get excited when I walked in this house. I'm going like, you guys are in this great part of your journey. Great part of your journey. And do you know what God wants for you? Nobody knows what God wants. That's the Holy Spirit. But Lord, we are open. And if we are patient, you will reveal to us exactly where you want us to be. And so if I don't get the answer today, we can't sit back and do nothing. You know, we got to look and say, what do we need in our life and what do we want? But he will reveal where he wants us to be. And in it, I guarantee you, one thing that comes with it is suffering. So if we don't fight the suffering and embrace it, we grow. But how many times do we fight?
Oh, yeah, we don't want to.
Or we just want to get out of it. Like, Lord, cause this to pass. Like, you know, you're just fighting to get out of it. That's something I shared this at my Bible study this week, that I'm really trying to shift my mindset and looking at the things like that I struggle with as more of an opportunity. Like, thank you, Jesus, for this because it brings me to your feet. You know, I hate this feeling.
You are learning
I wish
the
it would
lesson.
go away.
You're learning the lesson.
Unfortunately.
And you can say that it's a feeling. It's a feeling. It too will pass. But if we have to sit in it a while, it's so we learn the lesson. And when we can learn the lesson that, you know, I got to thank you as much for the trials as for the blessings.
Yeah.
You know, and then all of a sudden we begin joy. So I had a little kid come up to me at St. Francis about 15 years ago. He was like 8 years old. After Mass, I'm tired. I'm on my third Mass, and now I got to do Spanish Mass. So I got to switch languages. And he comes up to me, and I gave a sermon. He came out and says, Father Craig, you don't have any joy. And he goes, Joy.
Wow.
And I go, and I looked at him like, you, I wanted to slap him.
Yeah.
And I looked at him, and I go, oh, and he goes, you know what joy stands for? And I'm going, I said to him, I started telling him, like, you don't know, it's not that I don't have joy. It's just that it's a long day.
Yeah.
I've already had to, like, I'm telling an 8-year-old my stuff. And he goes, Jesus, others, and then yourself. And I said, oh, thank you. And then push him away, go in. I get ready. I sit down at my desk a minute, get my Spanish sermon, look it over. And then I wrote on my notepad, joy, Jesus, others. And I looked at it and I said, oh my God, that's my problem. I'm Yoj.
Yeah.
I'm Yoj. Lord, I'm going to pray. I'm going to have time for you. As soon as I get all my stuff on my list done, as soon as my chores are done, when my life is in order, then I'm going to spend time with it. Does it ever get done? No.
Never.
So I'm a person of habit. And so today, 66 years later, I'm up at 3 o'clock, 2:30 to 3 o'clock every morning, showered. I have my quiet prayer, meditation time, get ready. Usually my first client comes at 5 a.m. I'll do 5 a.m. I work out 3 days a week, and I'm done at 12:30. And then I usually go and I'll visit people who are sick or write something or read or whatever. And I look and I'm going, I can't miss that morning. I can't.
Right.
Even if I've been out. If I got called to visit somebody at the hospital at 2 a.m, it's 3 o'clock, I'm up. and I know I'll get my rest. But I had to change.
Mm-hmm.
I had to say, because I didn't make time. I was Yoj.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing my stuff. Then I'm worried about others. And then, Jesus, I have time for you.
Mm-hmm.
And now I just go. And that's where, again, Coffee with Jesus came from.
Mm.
Yeah.
A discipline that this isn't optional. So I go to Europe twice a year for a month. And I go to Assisi, where St. Francis lived.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been going for 50 years.
Wow.
Mm.
And it's my Mecca.
Yeah.
And
You wrote a book on that too,
yeah, I did.
right?
I wrote a book on that. Pax et bonum, peace and blessings. That's what St. Francis used to say to anybody he greeted. That was, and people in Assisi have a little plaque that says Pax et bonum on outside their door.
Mm.
Peace and blessings as you come in. So, and remind me, because I'm going to give you one for your house. We'll see what color your house. So I go back to that. That's my Mecca. That's my thing. But even when I go, I have my sister. She works for me a few days a week. I have her photocopy the pages of all the morning reflections I do and put them so that when I go travel, I don't have to carry all the books, but I have those reflections because it's got to go with me wherever I go.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And so the routine. Now I look and I go, people like you can't have the same routine that I have. You got 3 little kids.
Right.
So finding time. Where do I get, and I say to you, if you can get 5 minutes
Mm-hmm.
with you and Jesus, when you have 3 little kids, that's all the angels sing praise to God because you did.
Yeah.
But when you're physically exhausted and you do all that, it's hard to give him the time. And so, and then as a husband and wife saying is, not only do we need to do that, I tell husbands and wives all the time, I said, if the last thing you do at night when you climb into bed and you're so tired is take each other's hand and say, Lord, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Meister Eckhart said, the greatest prayer, if you only had one prayer to ever make, thank you,
Mm.
is enough. So I worry more about your generation because I'm on my way out. I'm on the last stage of my life, which I'm claiming is going to be the greatest stage of my life.
Mm-hmm.
But I worry about young people today because, we're not in nature very often. Our foods are all done. It's kind of like we're chemically bound.
Mm-hmm.
We're technology bound.
Mm-hmm.
All of our children, my grandkids come and everybody's on their phones. It's hard.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, Lord, it is what it is. I can be mean and say, everybody give me your phone, blah, blah. Or I can learn, how do I introduce the presence of God? I wrote a saying years ago, and it was adopted by a lot of people. It's called slow down, simplify, and sanctify.
Mm.
Slow your day down. The dishes might not all get done, and I'm OCD, so mine do. And I like everything in its spot. But slow down. Craig, when you walk, when I got out of the car, I said, I felt my feet touching the ground. Walk over there. Bless this time. Bless this moment. I was so excited to see you because I was like, your whole family has just meant so much in my life. And I was like, and then I was like, my first line to you was, you do know that I resigned from the priesthood? Because I was like going, I don't know. Is he back at the Catholic Church? I knew you weren't at the Catholic Church before. So I thought, well, maybe he's back and he's like, oh, we're on fire. We want to talk to somebody who inspired me. Like, okay, now I'm going to let you down. So I was like, that was the only thought I had coming over here. But I kept saying, like, when I came over here, this is where you want me to be. It's on my schedule. I remember when my secretary called me and she goes, this guy, I do podcasts for different groups. And she said, there's a guy calling you for a podcast. And she goes, Tom, I'm back. And I go, oh, whatever. Just get it set. Just do it. She goes, wow, that was quick. And she goes, oh, yeah. I said, I don't even care what the podcast is. I get to see somebody that. So I was excited. But it's the energy and it's the vibration. It's the frequency we bring. And that frequency to me is that God particle in me that says every experience we have has purpose. Even when I get stuck in traffic or I'm late, I was reading a study recently. I just connect dots. So you always have to know that's how my brain works.
Mm-hmm.
I read a study about breathing, because breathing to me, God breathed life into creation.
Mm-hmm.
But they studied the patterns of breath. I think 3,000 people. They put it on monitors. How we breathe.
Mm-hmm.
If we breathe naturally, listen to what it says. Yahweh, the name of God, our breath. It's prayer. When we sit at the ocean long enough, our heartbeat comes in sync with the waves. We're meant to be frequency, spiritual people. And so when somebody over here comes in and they're agitated and they're all this, if we really want to know our Christian, it's not quoting them scriptures. It's not telling them what they need to do. It's getting them to calm and center and be there and let God do the work. But so many people think it's knowledge. No.
Or doing.
Exactly. No.
Yeah.
You know.
And there are verses in scripture. One of my favorite ones, I think it's Psalm 127. Unless the Lord builds the house, we labor in vain. And unless the Lord watches over the city, the watchman labors in vain. And there's multiple other verses too, because I've had to hold on to those because I'm very controlling.
So guess what? When you say surrender and you say this is what I feel Jesus says to me all the time. Craig, it's my world. I don't need you to control it.
Yeah.
What I want you to do is bring my spirit to it. And I have grown up my whole life being a people pleaser, controlling. My kids will tell you, fight to the end. And now I just don't feel I control anything. I look all the time. And when my kids say something to me or come to me with a problem stuff, I go, you know what? You're smart. I know you will figure this out. Mel Robbins wrote a book recently called The Let Them Theory. And she has 3 great lines in there. I think she's used them from others, but I give her that credit. She said, if they wanted to, they would. So when I've spent time working with addicts or anybody, I've wanted to do sometimes the program more than they did. So, and I've learned, if they wanted to, they would. The second one is you can't change anybody. That's God's job. So Craig, you adopted, my first kid came from Oildale, Roy. And Roy, I go, he's great. Father, 3 kids, good man. You can take him out of Oildale, but you can't take Oildale out of it. I mean, he still likes trailers and all this. And I go, oh, it's not me. But I go, can't change him. The third one's the most powerful. I can't be angry at somebody for not being who I want them to be. And that's a challenging thing for me because control. I want to fix your life because I can see your problem. But what I'm really doing is I want to distract myself from what I need to work on me. Yeah. So if it gives me, who adopts 8 children?
Nobody.
The neediest person there is. I mean, do you think, it was so humanitarian, whatever. No, I was so, it's like, I can fix them all. Yeah. In turn, they fixed me. And so my goal in life now is whenever I start, every once in a while, God places something in front of me and I go, I can fix them. And I'm like, I release that. Yeah. I release that need. I'll walk with them. I will not tell them what to do. I got to. And to me, to be your ages and looking at life right now that you are and wanting the Lord to be deeper and wanting to minister to people and do this through all kinds of observations of life, it excites me because we need to talk more about these things. Yeah. Yeah. And not be afraid of pain and suffering.
Yeah. And that's something too, like I feel you're referencing our generation and how it just seems like because of social media, the internet, all these things, which my generation was the one who we're unique because we started our life without the internet. Internet got introduced and we've watched
we
it
know
kind of
both worlds.
Right. Yeah. And with the internet, it makes you think that you you got to make the most out of every minute. Like if you're not making money, then what are you doing? If you're not learning, then what are you doing? It went from reading a book, sitting down and reading a book, to now you're listening to a book while getting chores done or on a trip, or you're so inclined to do more because that's what you're supposed to do. And everything you're saying, I feel like, is stuff that we know. We read a book called The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry.
Well,
I love the idea.
No, but and here's what it ties into. It ties into my thing about the neuroplasticity of the brain and the prefrontal cortex, how the amygdala, how it all works is I can't let it run my life. I can be inspired by this TikTok or this Instagram, but what I need to be able to do is go from my heart. I want my soul, my God particle, to tell my mind what to think, and not my mind to tell me what to think. And there's a transition. And that's why I think social media can be the greatest blessing ever. But if we don't get control of this, if you're getting 100,000 thoughts a day, you didn't create them. We have to let many of them go. And if they're negative thoughts, we tend to obsess about them, and we'll go like this with them. I release it, and I'm going to think about this. I always say, release an idea, but replace it with something. I'm going to release that, and I'm just going to think right now all the things I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for my kids. I'm grateful for my health. Grateful for this. You switch your brain. Your brain goes, okay, now I control it. It doesn't for me. So your generation, the fear for me is they're doing you. According to what I have studied on the neuroplasticity of the brain, there's no such thing as a multitask. So we think we're doing two things at the same time, but our brain is going boom, 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 boom. This is where EMDR, it's a eye movement that I practice with clients, that it stops the brain. So what happens is it's like all these things are lit up here. I think about them day and night. I can't sleep. Blah, blah, blah. Be in the present moment. People don't like words today. They kind of think they're cliche or they're new age. They're not. Mindfulness, in the moment. These are biblical. This is Christ lived in the moment. And that's the gift he gave us. Can I walk through my day? How many times in the day? So far today, it is 12:15. How many times today were you present to the moment? And your brain not thinking of the next thing and the next thing. When I'm done with this, I'm going to go there. I'm going to go here. Now, I feel I've trained my brain to stay for long periods of time in the present moment. I have felt very engaged by you. I do a lot of podcasts, and I don't feel engaged by the people. I don't. I feel like,
oh, wow.
And this, and the latte helped. So, but I look at life like that, and I said, even walking across your house, can I stop my brain from thinking about everything I want to do today and get done? And I'm a very organized person, so I have my list to do. I've got all that. It's color coordinated. Oh, let it go. I take my cigar and I didn't get those done today. They weren't meant to go today.
Yeah.
I know it's a horrible vice for people, but you know what? I say, yeah, it's my religious experience. And I end it every night. It's just, but I create these things that tell my brain, stop. My tree, Wilbur, out front, has two eyes, a nose, and a mouth on him. And I didn't even know that was there on my house the first few years I lived there because I was always in a hurry. I'd run into my car, run out. I never saw it. And one day I called the guy that had the house and I said, hey, somebody put a face. He goes, that's been there for 10 years.
Oh, wow.
And I realized I don't notice anything.
Yeah.
Because I'm always in a hurry. Now I get in the car and I always do this. I start my car, put on my seatbelt, and I take 3 deep breaths. And I just look, okay, I leave your house. I'm going, man, that was great, good experience. Where am I going now? I'm going to go visit somebody that's dying. And I thought, good. I want to be peaceful. I don't want to run in there, blah, blah. I just want to bring the light let light just shine through. I have no words. I don't need a plan. Go see him. And after that, I can maybe do this. Maybe, I don't know. Something may change. And I'm like, slow down.
Mm.
Simplify, Craig. Don't have to get it all done today. Even my voice, when I'm talking with people, I will change the rapid speech to slow.
Mm-hmm.
And then to sanctify means to make everything holy. I'm washing dishes. Lord, I praise you. I thank you. Like this, I'm watching my kids. I had a woman once told me that her only prayer time she gets with her kids, because there's 4 of them, she said is I'm washing the clothes. There's always clothes. And she goes, but when I fold them, I touch them. And I go, Lord, bless Michael and just thank you for him.
What a great
and
idea.
So all of a sudden she turns a chore into a blessing and gratitude. And so, you talk about multitasking. That's a great multitask.
Yeah,
You cook food. So I've never cooked a meal in my life, so I know nothing about cooking. But I have a friend that every time, it's the way I watch her cook when she's in the kitchen. And I go, okay, you got to tell me, what are you doing? She goes, well, I cook. That's my thing. I like to cook. And she goes, so that's my prayer. And I go, what do you do? And she goes, first of all, when I take the vegetables and stuff or the meat, I hold it for a moment. And I thank God for the animal or the farmers. And then,
my whole life's getting changed now.
I started getting tears. And she's going like, okay. And so then she goes, and I do this. And then when I'm cooking it, I say, and bless all that are going to share in this and the abundance. And all of a sudden, so what I'm eating is something sacred.
Yes. Right.
Yeah.
So even when I do my Christmas cards now, and I wish I say I invented these things, but I observe and I ask people. So when I do my Christmas cards this year, every year, I take them all and I sign every one of them because I don't like when you just get the sticker and the stamp and the printed thing.
Yeah.
So I wish, because there's about 2,000 that go out.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I do sign them, and then I put them all in a basket. And I pray. And I said, Lord, all the hands from the postal office to the destination, bless everybody on their way. And I take, from my tradition, I take holy water and I sprinkle it on it and I drop them off at the post office. And then when I get Christmas cards, I pile them in a big basket. I don't open them. I wait. And after Christmas, when everything's settled down, the craziness, I go over to Cayucas and I'll sit on the porch. And I'll take that basket and I first say, blessings. Thank you, Lord, for all these people that just felt to remember me or think of me. And then I open each one and I actually look at the pictures and I read what they've said. And I read those long letters that people put in. And then I go, wow, reconnect, spiritual, send blessing. So taking everyday things become that gift.
It's a beautiful way to live life.
And they're not mundane. They're not a chore.
And you have to do them. Yeah. It's like, my neighbor across the street, they're a great Christian couple. And I see him every Sunday. I go, where are you going? Because he takes his wife car. And he goes, well, on Sundays, I take her car over and get it washed and filled up because she works at a school. And I said, God, Kurt, that is so, I love that. And he goes, well, and his words were something like, love language has to come in many different ways, not just saying it. And I know that makes her week easier and better. And I thought, if we all did those little simple things. So I hope your husband takes your car over and fills it up.
We are learning.
Honestly,
so much.
I feel like this is something that the Lord has been trying to teach me because it's really hard. Like like what you said, multitasker. The kids, we both work from home, so working in the house, and my brain is always going. And I feel like we have heard the Lord tell us so much in the last couple of years, like slow down. But it's kind of one of those things that's hard. It's hard when you're raising young kids and you have jobs.
But what are you teaching them? Are you teaching them the world spins, or they see you walking slowly through the house? You're teaching them the pace. You're saying to them when you're in the kitchen, come and help me.
Mm-hmm.
And let's thank God right now while we set the table.
Well, we'll do that now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
well, I think
but what I'm saying is it doesn't matter because then you will rub off on someone else.
Yeah.
The greatest gift I feel I have now is sharing through life experience ideas. They don't have to be mine, but they make sense to me.
Yeah.
And maybe this one works for you and that one doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I have that slow down, simplify, and sanctify all over my house because I just have to remind myself.
Well, and I think what you're teaching me is I think when we think about slowing down, it's often like, well, what can we take off of our plate, you know?
Yeah.
And that's hard when you're raising 3 young
You
kids
don't have
and
to
you
take one
work
thing
and
off.
but I'm learning hearing you talk is it's slowing down in those day-to-day things. The things that we like the laundry or the walking or the breathing, like you slow down in those ways, you know?
You don't have to get rid of one thing in your
Right.
life. The change is, here's the other thing with time management and all the books you can read, because I love reading, is everything with time management is if you focus on a task, it will get done very quickly. But if you're trying to do 3 things at once, it takes 3 times as long. So when I say to myself, Craig, get the coffee pot ready for tomorrow. So at 3 o'clock in the morning, it's brewed. And I go in there. I used to be going like, da-da-da. And then all of a sudden, I didn't put coffee in the thing. I didn't do this. So now I go, Craig, you have 30 seconds. Focus. Pour the water in, coffee, set the timer. It's done. Now go to the next thing. Don't be doing, but we have to retrain the brain and you have to be patient with yourself. We don't have to cut things out, but also when we do decide to have leisure, we have to have leisure. Everybody needs to say, it could be, and it doesn't have to cost any money. Where's the family? We're going to go to the park or we're going to go to Hart Park and see whatever it is. But when we go, we are present. We are not looking at our phones. We are not responding to things. I can take an hour and not have to do that.
Yeah.
I can sit at a meal. None of us is that important.
Right.
Now, I understand when parents leave their children with somewhere. Whenever I have a client come in and they have kids, and I always tell them because they're like, I said, no, put your phone right there. If it rings or it texts that, I want you to answer it. That's your kid. I don't want your brain is now, all it's doing is thinking about what's on your phone.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah.
But we got to train ourselves.
Yeah.
And then your kids will pick it up.
Yeah. It's funny. We went out of town this last weekend to the beach with his family, and it was just such a sweet, sweet time.
With his family?
With him. And what I was telling him, though, is it's funny. Moments and like weekends like that where I really kind of shut off from the world and I'm just there, I realize how much I'm not like that in my day to day because my body feels relaxed, but my mind is like going, like it's almost like my mind is freaking out that I'm so relaxed.
Yeah.
Like, whoa, what's going on? And usually that first night we're away, I get a lot of anxiety because my mind is like trying to figure out, why are you so relaxed?
Did I
What's
do
going
everything?
on?
Back home, or I should do this. And
Yeah.
No, and that's why when people come home from a weekend like that, they usually feel exhausted and then this because they didn't allow themselves to turn off. And one of my goals with all my clients is teaching them techniques to shut their mind off. It's good to have. I love when I came in, you had music, beautiful music playing. In my house, I always do. On my TV, I have one of the scenes of just nature, and it just shows all day. And when I'm walking through, oh wait, I don't have to walk fast from here to there. I don't need to do this. When I'm talking with somebody, I'll catch myself and go, slow down, Craig.
Yeah, my gosh.
Just the voice calms.
I'll catch myself even sometimes on our podcast. I'm like just wanting to like spit off what I'm trying to say because my brain is just running,
And we were trained that way. So when we were kids growing up, my generation and just like yours, we were trained to always be doing. So if I was sitting on the couch on a Saturday watching cartoons, my mom would say, what are you doing? I'm watching cartoons. Go outside, go play, go do something. Go do yard work. Don't get caught because then you got to go do yard work. So the training, and then you go to school. You do this, study that. Tell me this, our brains have been regimented to do that. And if we can be enlightened, if we can wake up, then the awakening is, I don't need that. And so we practice, and you go, next time we go to an experience, I'm going to practice. And if I get an hour where I go, I'm in my body, I'm at peace, I'm not running a record by why am I in peace, not in peace. These conversations we have are driving people insane.
Mm-hmm.
That's why there's so much depression and ADD and ADHD. I mean, we used to say they're slow. Now we have names for everything. But I look there and I go, if we could just if we could be in calm. But people who watch the news all day, people that are always rushing on the road, how about just...
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so even a moment like this, where we all have stuff we're going to do today, but... And you take that one moment and the silence. And that's when we can hear God.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't have to say to us, Craig, now I want you to do this, huh? He just says, I just want you to be. I am who I am. I'm in you, Craig. I'm the God particle. I live in you. That's why one of the things that's still very powerful for me in my Catholic faith is the Eucharist, because we've always believed we receive Jesus. And I've always believed and said to myself, if you are receiving Christ, communion with him, what in the world are you worried about? Norman Vincent Peale said, worrying is accepting the responsibility God never intended you to have. So why does everybody have anxiety? Why does everybody need Xanax? Why does everybody need something? Because I'm just so anxious. Stop it.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have fear and anxiety and say, the Lord, Jesus is my Lord and Savior.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
They don't work. Either fear is, and we have to get rid of that, because we were trained to be afraid, trained to fear of failure, fear of not being perfect. Is somebody going to come in and judge me in my house because something's there? What if I would have just stopped by on another day with 3 kids running through in this? Would you be going like, oh gotta pick up? Yeah. But we do that because we're worried about what people think.
Yeah.
But if we could grasp this, the power you two would have as a couple, if you could grasp it, because your generation, you young parents, we're going to raise neurotic children thinking that everything has to be perfect, that everything's in a hurry, that you get everything. I call Instacart and they deliver it. I get Uber Eats if I want it.
Yeah.
It's like, we just have to stop some. Say, I try to practice the art in eating. And in weight issue, I was like 325 pounds at one time. And I lost 120 pounds, and I've kept it off for 20 years.
Wow.
And, but what I do with food now is when I'm hungry and I prepare my food, I try to practice that same thing, the woman that cooks it.
Yeah.
Taste it, Craig.
Yeah.
And all the hands that prepared it, because I didn't prepare it. Everybody that prepared it. Grateful. Taste it. Gratitude. Take water instead of go. Life.
Yeah.
And when I start being present to those little things, all of a sudden life becomes the most exciting and wonderful world. And I don't have to be afraid.
It's funny. I recently got a book, and it's kind of it's a recipe book, but it also teaches you certain habits that are really good for your body. It's a very beautiful book, but one of the things that it said was what's good for digestion is chewing about 40 times before you swallow. And it also talks about when you sit with your shoulders back. Don't be on your phone. Be present in what you're eating. Enjoy your food. Slow down. And I was laughing with Tom because I was like, I sit at the table because usually since we work from home, it's like lunch break. So what do? I scroll on my phone while I'm eating. I'm hunched over. I'm probably chewing 5 times, maybe
And
10 if you're
well, yeah,
lucky.
and not only that, we chew, and
Yeah.
then we're just washing it down.
Yeah.
And we
Throwing
don't.
down a Diet Coke with it. Like, I was, like, mortified when I read that because I'm like, it's so true. Like, there's beauty in food. Like, there's beauty in that. Like, it almost can be, like, a sacred moment to, like, enjoy. And again, it's just, like, slouched over, scrolling TikTok, scarfing down this food, and I'm like,
Because
that
my
is not
brain,
a beautiful. Like, that's
because
an
my
ugly way to
brain,
live.
because my brain doesn't want the peace that only Christ can bring.
Mm,
My brain is, I always tell people, our brain is our enemy. We need to overpower it. We need to let the
mm,
godness, because it'll say to you, like, if you're quiet and you don't do that and you go, I've got my food, I'm going to take my time. And to me, you have to write out a card. I write out cards like that and I laminate them, and then I'm going to eat. And I sit it right there and it says, know this, chew slowly, do
Oh,
this. And then
yeah.
what happens
Yeah.
is you train your brain to say, this is no scrolling.
mm,
I'm going to listen to music. I'm going to renew my spirit in the 10 minutes that I'm going to eat so that I can do the second half of my day in peace,
Hmm.
and not just, I got food in me.
mhm.
And it's hard because I'll have all that and I'll go to a restaurant. And my friends will tell you, there's times at restaurants I pull out my little cheat sheet and say,
Oh, that's so
because
cute.
I'll go like, I'm hungry, the smells,
Yep.
and they put it down and I'm just going, whoa, Craig, put the fork down,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
sip the water,
Yeah.
taste it, let
Mm.
the food, chew it. But
Yeah.
sometimes my brain,
Mm-hmm.
with those 100,000 thoughts,
Yeah.
gets this, or I'm in a good conversation. I already ate it all. And
Yeah.
then an hour later, did you eat?
Yeah.
What did I eat? So,
Yeah.
but it's the retraining
Yeah.
that I want the thoughts to come from my soul
Mm.
and not from my brain.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
And yet we're told, get more information, more information.
Yes.
Chat GPT, AI, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not afraid of any of that stuff, but I still want my thoughts to come from here.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
And that becomes a journey. And
Yeah.
that's my journey at this stage.
Yeah.
If I would have given anything to be where you guys are in your awareness of your relationship with Christ. We have a family. We're contemplating number 4. We, the future and blah, blah. But we got people telling us like this, like you're already crazy doing this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, eventually you say to yourself I can hear anybody tell me anything, but I'll listen from here
Mm-hmm.
to God, and He will tell me,
Mm-hmm.
and it will be perfect.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I want to be honoring of your time. What are you doing now? How can people get, there's a couple of books that you have up, and there's a few.
I wrote a child's book
Mm-hmm.
called,
Oh,
yes, it was when Lauren Small, I worked with her, and she had cancer and died at 11, and she came to me in a dream, and it's called Angel Girl.
oh my
And
gosh.
it's funny because in the dream, she gave me names, and I named them as stuffed animals. Well, it happened to be her horses' names,
Oh, wow.
which I had never heard of.
Wow.
So there's a lot of things. It was a very spiritual thing for me. I've
Yeah.
not had that happen. And so that's my children's book. And then I have a book, Poxic Bonum, which is the kind of the miracles that happened to me every time I go to a CC.
Mm.
And then my latest book, Coffee with Jesus,
Yeah.
because they're short 2-paragraph reflections just on getting through your day and a word for the day. So you kind of say, okay, this is my day today. Calmness,
Mm-hmm.
this.
Where can we get those
I'm
books?
going to give you, when we walk out the door, I'm going to give it to you. They're on Amazon. They're at Barnes & Noble. They're the bookstores. But I'm going to give you a copy when I walk out. I have some in the car. But that's part. And then I do speaking once a month, a group called Reflections, men and women. They invite me. We do it at World Records. You can go to reflectionsforwomen.com, and you can find out. It's free.
Mhm.
Come. We get about 400, 500 people, and I
Wow.
speak on topics of whether it be grief or joy or happiness or getting out of depression or you alienated from your children. I try to pick things and it's spiritually based. And then I have my counseling service is called Transition Ahead, where I work with mainly grief and trauma. Walking through, I do that. And then really, I'm just kind of living. I do have a website, craigsinspiration.com, where you can see Coffee with Jesus. You can read it daily on there. And other podcasts and stuff I do are linked to that. And all the talks I give are recorded professionally, and they're downloaded to that site.
Oh, good
craigsinspiration.com. And so I'm just enjoying.
That's incredible.
You guys made my day though today.
No, you made mine.
And your latte was out of this world.
Oh, good.
You could be a barista.
I just have always heard so much about you because his family just adores you, and from grandmother to my mother-in-law, like everyone just adores you. So it's funny. I almost felt like I knew you before, but sitting with you, I mean, this was just such a beautiful conversation. I feel like I gained so much and learned so much, and honestly, you're just so inspiring to just see all the life that you've lived and what you've learned. And I mean, I'm going to re-listen to this because you really spoke to me.
I got nothing out of it, but I appreciate you coming.
What was this guy like?
I was shocked when I walked in the door and your wife was pretty and had all her limbs. I was like, oh, who would have thought? but I appreciate the invitation.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What was this guy like? Do you remember?
You know what? I have to tell you, I do. And as a child, I think, and I don't say this just like I make it up this. His spirit was powerful.
Mm-hmm.
He was strong-willed. But it was, when you see kids like that and you also know their family and you see them at different things all the time in this, I didn't know what he was doing now and all of that. I mean, I've seen you here and there, but didn't know. And I thought, wow. And when you told me, when I asked you, what's your podcast from this? I was like, man, I love this. I love two young people saying, we just want to share journeys. We want to inspire. That's the whole thing to me today is how do we help people, smile at somebody, be kind, just whatever.
Yeah.
And so today I'm expecting you to wash laundry and get prayerful, and he's going to fill your car up and wash it. So you got it all figured out.
Yeah.
But thank you guys. Thank you for living out your commitment and raising your kids.
Well,
I think you should go for 6.
Oh gosh.
No, I already told him. I said if we have 4, there's no uh-ohs after that point. Like we draw the line at 4.
Well, then it's gonna have to be little Craig because gotta have the legacy. But thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for being here, and we'll see you guys next week. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being a part of this. You guys know how it goes. If you could like, subscribe, click that notification, and stay up to date with what we got going on. We love you, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, you guys.